You know, in terms of the comparative nature, I honestly feel like if you're not stable enough or self-aware enough to not be able to compare yourself to other people and have it have a negative impact on you, then you probably shouldn't be on Instagram anyway. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today is a slightly different topic for my YouTube channel. I am going to be talking about how I feel about Instagram now. I suppose this is more related to a series that I have on my IGTV channel, which is all about helping like mums and women starting out in tech, which I do on my IGTV. But as I'm talking about Instagram, and you know they say don't shit where you eat, or whatever they say, I thought it best to do it over here because I feel like you don't really want to be talking about, not saying that I would be speaking badly about Instagram, but you don't want to be speaking badly about the very platform you're talking about on their platform. Also because I don't want to offend people, because of course people have taken the time and the effort to grow their businesses on Instagram. I am also one of those people, but I have a kind of a little bit of more of a distant relationship with Instagram maybe than some others. So this is for people that just care to listen, but I'm just trying to be respectful of people's spaces and choices and the Instagram platform in itself. And also just to say, I am not an Instagram expert, I am a marketer. That's my, well, my background is lots of many things, but my main thing is I've always worked in online marketing, content creation. I am not a social media marketing expert, more like a digital marketing expert who has had to use social media as part of my marketing mix basically. So I'm just gonna, I've got a few notes here. This is really cash, just going through my list. So I suppose the first thing to talk about is removing likes. So many people have asked me, how do you feel about Instagram removing likes? I'm seeing it being spoken about a lot on Instagram. But I feel like no one's really being, apart from Gary Vee, obviously, I feel like I'm not really hearing what I really want to hear from it. I'm not getting the nitty gritty. I don't know what that is, what it is that I want to hear. But how I feel is that firstly, I don't believe that Instagram is removing likes for the benefit of our mental health. Instagram is an advertising platform. It is there to entice people to shop. It's there to entice brands to advertise. It's there to entice influencers to spend money and time on promotion and engagement. And I think that the removal of likes might sound nice. I think it's really there to encourage creators, influencers to get a lot more creative with their content. I think that people become very stuck to a method that works for them, a piece of content or a style of content that generates a lot of engagement and traction, and therefore they may not be as experimental. Brands are maybe not finding the content. Hello. You know, it's in Instagram's interest to have creators creating content that brands find attractive, or that, you know, brands are still going to look to Instagram as a place to find people to work with. And if everybody is churning out the same content and the brands are getting a little bit tired, then brands are going to start looking elsewhere, namely TikTok. This is going to be the new place. I can already see some brands rolling out their ads and their influencer marketing campaigns on TikTok, ASOS specifically, I think River Island's on there, and so I can already see some brands already starting to branch out. And so the removal of likes, I think, it is what it is. I think that bigger influencers, I can totally understand, will be annoyed by this because their numbers are kind of what is their kind of proof of the traction and the engagement and the impact that they can have on their followers for other brands, which is obviously very attractive for brands to see that, oh my god, this person got 26,000 likes on this post. They're obviously really engaging and have a strong influencers. There are some big influencers that don't really have that much engagement, or they might have lots of people liking their content but not really people don't really convert. So sometimes the numbers can be a little bit deceiving anyway, but I understand why bigger influencers would feel a little bit down about that, because they've worked hard to gain those numbers and now people are not going to be able to see them, because of course the numbers are a public display. We will still be able to see our own numbers, but nobody else will be able to see them. They won't be displayed to the public anymore. So for the bigger influencers, that's what I think. I can understand why that's a bit annoying, because people have worked their ass off to gain those numbers. Those numbers are attractive and they are appealing to marketers and brands and advertisers, and now they're being taken away. For smaller influencers and content creators like me, I have a very small Instagram account. Well, not very small, I have 7,500 followers on Instagram, and that's probably dropping as we speak, because, you know, every second you're not on the platform, you know, you're losing a follower. So for me, it makes no difference to me whatsoever. I mean, I would say that my content is very varied. Like, no two posts are really ever the same. Yes, I have a pose that I might like, I have a specific style of clothing that I like to wear, but I present my content in lots of different ways. So one day it might be a style video, one day I might be talking through my outfit of the day in the pub, another day it might be me and Allegra stood outside in our little road talking through what my content just changes day to day. You know, I even talk about digital content and digital marketing on Instagram on my IGTV. Those videos get 200 likes. They get a lot less engagement than some of my other videos. However, I feel like it's important to talk about what it is that you feel you need to express. Excuse me. I feel like it's important to speak about what you want to speak about, express what you want to express, be the artist or the creator or whoever it is that you want to be on Instagram. Don't let the likes dictate what you have to say. Don't let Instagram or the likes dictate what content you produce. I just said, for me, my thing has always been, I produce good quality, high value content. My content sometimes can take up to a week to create, which is ridiculous, but it's what I want to do. It's what I want to show that I can do. It's what I'm passionate about doing. I do love taking photos. Well, I don't love taking photos, but I do like putting looks together and getting a photo of it. But my thing is really about just adding value. So if that means I can't post every day, and that means that my engagement is going to be slightly lower because I'm not as active on the platform, but I'm producing the content that I love and that I genuinely am passionate about, and that I would want brands to come to me and pay me to create for them, then that's what I'm going to do. And maybe I don't get the most likes, maybe it's not a good return on investment in the short term, but if you're building a brand, then obviously the game is a much longer game. It's a much longer race. Is that what I'm saying? It's a much longer race, and so I put the legwork in now. And I just think, yeah, I think use Instagram as a platform to produce the content that you want to produce, and not have it be defined by likes. And so I think that Instagram thinks that because people won't see the likes, that people will be more happy to experiment. Of course, we will still see our own likes. So it's about you really just being able to use the likes for your own purpose, not, yeah, to be honest with you, I feel like, what difference does it make whether the likes are publicly displayed or not? You know, in terms of the comparative nature, I honestly feel like if you're not stable enough or self-aware enough to not be able to compare yourself to other people and have it have a negative impact on you, then you probably shouldn't be on Instagram anyway, is firstly what I think. The only person that you should be comparing your likes to is yourself and your content. That piece of content, yesterday's piece of content's performance, in comparison to today's piece of content. Why would I don't ever compare my likes to anybody else's. I just don't understand why people would do it. For the smaller bloggers, or the smaller accounts on Instagram, I feel like maybe the removal of numbers is something that people are excited about, because it kind of levels out the playing field. In terms of being attractive to brands, I suppose the removal of likes being displayed publicly is a good thing, because it means that two content creators who create just exactly the same level of content, maybe one might have more engagement and more followers and the other one might not, but you can see that if the content is good, maybe the brands will be attracted to work with both of them or one over the other, regardless of the numbers. So I think this is where, and which is what Instagram wants, is for it to be more about the content that you produce than the number of followers or vanity metrics that you get. And I think that is a really good thing, because if you're already creating really good quality content, it means that brands will be more compelled to work with you based on your content and not just your engagement. of course people are still going to see from the comments that, you know, who is getting good engagement or who is able to convert their audience into customers. Maybe not exactly that, but you can see when you read through people's comments, or, you know, someone might say, oh my god, Aisha, I bought that blazer, or oh my god, I absolutely love this, I've been in store, I've checked this out, blah blah blah. You can see those sort of things in comments. You can also still see the number of comments people get, and this actually is really beneficial because there are some massive bloggers out there who don't get any comments. Whereas there are smaller bloggers that are really engaged with their followers and they get lots of comments. They might have every single person who likes their post actually comment on their post, and so brands will still see how much comments each creator is getting, and they will see the types of comments and how engaged they are, and so this could be a really good thing as well, actually. So for that reason, I think the removal of likes is beneficial. I just don't have, I feel like I'm in a position, for me personally, I feel like I have a really good relationship with my audience. I generally try to respond to all the comments within the first half an hour, and then if I do get the time, I do go back and engage with those comments as well. I'm not scared about the removal of likes, and I'm not, obviously maybe I'm not scared because I'm a small blogger and it's probably more beneficial to me than it isn't. And I think that people, I totally understand why the bigger bloggers are worried about it. So that's how I feel about the removal of likes. I just think people need to question why they are so excited about it, because if it's because you feel conscious of your numbers, then I think that that's not a healthy place to be. Your numbers should not really have any reflection on how you feel about yourself or your worth, or, like, you know, I don't understand why people care about whether people can see their numbers or not. I just don't get it. Like, I guess people don't want people to know that their content isn't performing well. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I just think if your content isn't performing well, then it's not about whether other people can see it or not. It's about you doing something about that or changing how you feel about it. I think in terms of the comparativeness, like I said, if you're comparing your likes to other people's likes, and it's making you it's giving you a negative impact, then I just don't think that that is a good place to be in on Instagram. So yes, I think the only person you should be comparing your likes to is your own likes. I don't actually feel like Instagram removing likes is going to remove the comparative nature that harbours on Instagram. I think people are still going to compare what handbags people have, how big their houses are. You know, if it's for the younger generation, I'm sure they will still find things to compare themselves on Instagram, because that is the nature of not even just social media, of humans. It's all about dealing with that comparison and learning to not compare on Instagram and in real life. So I think that's it for this video. I will say, do not let Instagram ruin your mental health, your relationships, your headspace. You know, give it a healthy amount of time, gain distance from it, and remember that it is a platform. It will go eventually, or it will cost eventually, and there will be something else that will be free, more exciting and of the moment. And just prepare yourself for that, and keep adapting, because Instagram is going to change. In my next video, I'll be talking about, you know, everyone's talking about organic reach and organic growth on Instagram being dead. So I'll be talking about how I feel about that. So if you'd like to watch that video and you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Tap that notification bell so you know the second my next video is live, which will be on organic reach on Instagram and its decline and how I feel about it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. I'm just join us.
Oh, can you sit on?
Yeah.
But you have to let mummy talk, okay?